EA Interviews, Episode 18.
Inspiration, transformation, success stories, and the Imperfect Action Round. 7 days a week. Join Mario Ficini for today's Expert Authority Effect interview.
Expert Authority World, we're back with another great episode, and I am excited to dive into you for Soulful Sunday with FEMS-PR. If you listened to yesterday's episode, I ended it with telling you about FEMS-PR and what it means to your business. There are a lot of things you can be doing, and there's a lot of paths to success. And one of the things I wrestled, whatever the case is, one of the things I struggled with was I want to be successful to make an impact. I want the resources. I want the influence. I want the audience. Not for me, but to share the right way on doing things, because a lot of the examples I had, they may have been successful, they may have had the money, they may have had the following, but they didn't have the family values. They had jacked up beliefs. And I don't think that's really success. I know people that say they're peak performers, and there's someone I'm thinking of right now, and her whole thing is relationships matter. It's like the company slogan. And how she treats people is really complete crap. And it's one of those things where people are out there and they say what you think, they say what they think you want to hear. And I don't like that, because if you can't be congruent with what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it, in my opinion. So I changed this a little bit because it's Sunday. You're listening to it right now. I take off nights and weekends to be with friends and family. And it occurred to me when I had my original vision for this, I'm like, I want to do this, because I want to bring so much massive value and content. But the reality is, I don't want to be promoting something on Saturday and Sunday. I don't want to be taking time away from family and friends to be talking about another business thing. If you don't have quality of life and lifestyle, you don't have a business. The business has you. And I've taught this for years. And the second I changed this, and with last week's Q&A, I felt so much better. Because I was anxious and I was like, what is going on here? And the reality was I was being incongruent, because my original vision, I wasn't even thinking down the road. I was just fixated on, I need to get really great guests. Thankfully, all of them are literally in my phone book, and I just called them on their cell phone or emailed. And I'm very blessed to be able to do that. It wasn't a big deal, but I was just thinking like this. And if you're only listening to me, I'm putting my hands together and, we'll do the thing like an inch apart, like real close. I was just tunnel vision. I was focused. I need a launch February 1st. I need a launch. Well, guess what? I launched. Same thing I tell my clients when I'm helping them with their book or their show. You have the pre-launch, then you have the post-launch, and you have to go from launch mentality to evergreen mentality. I tell people all the time, don't get stuck in startup mode. With that being said, I also teach them daily success routines, because if the only way to success is you thinking you need to grind 24/7, I don't agree with that 100%. I don't agree with that 100%. I don't like that. One of my favorite pictures I've seen and I share on Facebook is stop the glorification of busy. What is that? Oh, I'm doing stuff. I'm da-da-da-da-da-da. If we were to do a time audit, like I take my clients in my 8-week class through, what are you really doing with the time? Is it really the highest and best of your use of your time? Even if it is something really good, how leverageable is it? Is it also benefiting you 5 or 10 years down the road? Or is it just an immediate thing? Maybe you're doing book signing. Okay, you're doing a book signing. You just launched your book. You're doing a book signing. That's not only an in-moment, really good use of your time for that day or week, but that's also 5-10 years leverage. If you're having a one-on-one appointment, You could argue it's a really good use of your time, but maybe it's not. Maybe you only have a 50% closing rate. Maybe you only have a 20 or 30. So for every 10 you do, there's 7 that might not really be worth anything down the road. And you can't ever get your time back. Would you give up time with your husband, with your wife, with your kids, with your friends, your family for someone you met yesterday that's really just trying to suck your energy and suck your time? You got to be very diligent about that. And I've taught this for years, and I'm excited to share with you FEMS-PR. I came up with this, and I want to thank my friend Alexa, if you hear this. It was band class in 8th grade. And another good friend of mine, Victoria. Holy smokes, that scared the crap out of me. Apparently, I shouldn't say Alexa. Full transparency, it's also 1:20 in the morning. Just so you know. So, I know you heard that. I'm not even going to edit it, but I'm literally, that scared me. So, my friend Alexa from 8th grade, we were sitting there and, oh my gosh, do I even have a water nearby? I am sorry. 8th grade, we were in band, and we were getting ready for band stuff. And I've always been introspective, and I just asked, is there anything you would improve? If there was something you could improve about me, what would it be? And I remember her saying, you kind of slouch over when you walk. Okay? So that week, I just practiced walking straighter. And it was different. I just felt different. Now I know, physiologically, and when you change things with your body, if you ever see people do the Superman pose, I think there's another term for it called the Duchenne pose. There are physiological different things that change with you. If you put your hands on your hips and just stand there with your head slightly elevated, things change physiologically in your body, and it actually releases endorphins. When people rub their temples, there are physiological changes that everything you do physically, it changes stuff in the chemistry in your body. So when you're slouching over because you're sad, you're actually making yourself more sad. That's why people say they can get a runner's high, or when you're working out, it releases endorphins. So there's all these different things. So I started walking straighter, and guess what? I started feeling better. Now I know there's more to it. I'm not going to get into all the details of what I've learned. But the point is, I just was like, how can I be a better version of me? And Alexa, I hear you over there, scaring me. She was sharing some things with me, and I just started asking people. And Victoria, I thank her, because she goes, it sounds like you were doing a 360 interview. I've never been in corporate. The only real jobs I had were Wendy's, Best Buy, and a nutritional store. I'm not going to say the name, but the initials are GNC. I've always looked at ways for self-improvement. Then I started digging deeper. But that day in 8th grade, I was like, what is important to me? In full transparency again, I was like, I need to ask someone out to the dance. A girl. Who do I like? Looks to me have always been a dime a dozen, especially when I was modeling. It's like, great, she's beautiful. BFD. What's your heart? What do you actually care about people? Are you negative? And I just started thinking, what do I like in people? In a person, in a girl. And I was going, what are her thoughts financially, emotionally, and mentally? Huh? See this? FEMS. Oh, and spiritually. FEMS. I had those 4 in 8th grade. The PR I added on after the fact. Those are physically in relationships. So financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and relationships. Since then, I've expanded them into my business with everyone and business and every day. So if you have a capitalistic mindset and you're listening to this because you're an entrepreneur or entrepreneurial at the very least, it's hard to have conversations with socialists. If emotionally you're on two different levels, I sincerely pray you have the compassion to reach out and not just brush someone under the rug. But you can be in two different places emotionally with someone as well. Mentally, you might just not be an intellectual giant. That's Tony, one of my managers at West Marine. Oh, I worked there too. I'll never forget him. He was talking about some girl he was going to go out with, and I was like, how did it go? She's like, well, she wasn't really an intellectual giant. And I just thought that was funny because that's the truth. Some people are just not intellectual giants. We'll leave it at that. Spiritually, that's a whole other discussion. And some of the episodes we touch on that, and I'm excited about that very much so. I just spoke with the guest I have coming up, and she's going to rock the house. But the point is, where are you spiritually? Where are you physically? Do you work out or do you like Cheetos? Again, I was eating them earlier tonight, but I also like working out. That's kind of me. Some people don't like working out and they only like the Cheetos, and other people will think I'm bad. I'm not even going to say the other stuff I was going to say for dramatic effect, but they're like, you eat Cheetos? Do you know the micro? Like, okay, cool. I'm not going to eat kale my whole life. I got a joke for that. I'll tell you sometime if you ask me, but there are different levels for all of this. When you can get in synergy with all of it, it's a really fun time. So the last thing is our relationships. This is exactly why I'm doing this episode, because I want to connect with you on a personal level all the time, because that's who I am. I cranked out 3 or 4 Facebook Lives earlier today, and I was like, you know what? This is a new audience. This is a new medium for me. I'm used to doing video 24/7. Now, even though I'm doing this on video, the intent with my little buddy here, PR40, is for crystal clear audio, because you might never watch a video in your life, and that's fine, but I still want to make a difference in yours. So, FEMS-PR, financial, emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, and relational. When you can get in alignment and be congruent with all of those, your business will skyrocket. Your life will be drastically better, but I'm talking business. That's what my show's about, the Expert Authority Effect. It's a business show for entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial spirited people. If you're not in alignment with them, you're going to have a problem making an offer. You're going to have a problem pitching someone a price. You're not going to see the value in yourself. Therefore, you're not going to see it in your business, and others won't see it in you, and you're going to have a hard time closing them. Just because you can put stuff on social media and market doesn't mean you can complete a sale. There's a big difference. I do not like when people say sales and marketing. They're not the same thing. Marketing is storytelling, sales is a different process, and closing is a whole other one. If you're interested, Expert Authority Effect, my book, I touch on all of it. The last one is advertising. There's 7 steps. The last one is advertising. If you're not advertising, it's because you don't, plain and simple, you don't believe in what you're doing enough to amplify the message. So you'll go to the training, you'll spend $20,000 a year on coaching, you'll join the mastermind, heck, you might even start your own mastermind to gather up all the people to talk about all the stuff, because everyone wants to go to the next level, but there's no one that's actually on the next level to extend their hand to say, hey, I'm going to bring you with me. That's my vision for the show. I want all the best of the best people to bring you the content to say, hey, here's 3 different people with 3 different viewpoints. Maybe they're aligned spiritually, maybe they're not. Maybe they're aligned financially, maybe they're not. Maybe they're aligned relationally, maybe they're not. Maybe they're workaholics and don't give a crap about family. Maybe they love family. Well, here's the beauty. You get to decide, who do I want to model after? Who do I want to emulate? Don't be anyone but you, but just realize It's your company. It's your business. You can do whatever the heck you want. There's no wrong answer. The second you're more aligned with what you want to do, it's going to skyrocket everything. Your confidence is going to go through the roof, and you might not need to change the pricing. You might not need to change the packaging, but you will be able to close more sales because people will feel a difference and see a difference inside of you. They're like, what changed? And it's you being your real self, not trying to just listen to all the people parroting off information going, well, if you're dealing with this segment and you have high closing offers versus entry-level offers, the price point statistic... Oh my gosh, shut up. Test them out. Marketing is a giant test. That was a question I got too. I'll have to add that to the list. How much is a split test going to cost me? Well, one, it's not going to cost anything. It's an investment. But it depends. Did you only allocate 20 or 30 bucks, or do you have 2 or 3,000? Are we talking about running it for a day, a week, a month, a year? There's so many variables. What do you want to do? What do you want the outcome to be? Do you want to split test 7 different ads over 7 different days for a total of 49 at $10 a piece and we need $500? Or do you want to split test 2 and just kind of use that as a sampling and just assume it's for everyone? Depends. Figure out your message. Figure out what you want. Be the you want to step into, and don't worry about what everyone else is doing. FEMS-PR, I'm going to close it with that. Financial, emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, and relational. If you currently don't work out, I'd encourage you to. It's a lot of fun. You'll learn to love it, even if you like Cheetos. If you currently don't have time to go be with friends or family ever, your business has you. You've built a job. Change it now. You can't get time back. And I pray to God you have your loved ones for the next 10, 20, 30 years, but the reality is you might wake up like me one day and they're not going to be there, and there's nothing you can do to bring them back, and you can't Photoshop your dad back. You can't do a special effects and After Effects. There's no number of Facebook Lives you can do to get one more day. And you may have been doing the best thing in the world the night before, or you may have been doing the dumbest thing in the world. Maybe you never knew. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing it. But now I'm telling you, and now it's your choice. You can't get time back. What's the highest and best use of your time? How do you apply it financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and relationally? And all of this was built off of, I'm thinking of specific people right now that they might have the money, but people come into town, they never have time to go to dinner with them. They might have all the time in the world, but they don't have the money. They might have all the money and all the time, but they're an emotional mess. Spiritually, all over the place. Physically, they don't have health. Relationally, I touched on that one. Mentally, some of them are intellectual, some of them are not. But when you get them all in succinct for you, own it and run with it. And I can give you examples of people who are all over the spectrum, and they've done just that. They've had wild success in all areas of their life, and some of them are blue collar, some of them are white collar, and some of them are royalty. Some of them grew up with a silver spoon, and some of them were polishing the spoons as a dishwasher. But they all got to the end point because they had the vision, they had the belief, and they had the confidence. And the biggest thing I see with people I talk to, the prospects, they're the greatest people in the world, and I'm really thankful to know them. But the one thing I really enjoy helping them with is going, you have a gift. God gave you talents and abilities. It's your time to shine. They 90% of the time don't see it. And it doesn't mean they're bad. It doesn't mean they're the best thing since sliced bread. It just means they're really good at their skill set, and they just kept at it. They're consistent, and it's award after award after award, recognition after recognition. And I can't tell you what we say on the phone behind the scenes, but a lot of them just don't see it the way I do. And I'm telling you, you're the same. You might not see it. You might have imposter syndrome, but the second you get these 6 things in alignment, see that? Imperfect action. I thought it was 7. It's so much easier. The decision making. Should I go to this event? Should I go to that one? It's real easy when you know what your goal is and what your vision is. If you don't, flip a coin. Whatever looks most entertaining, go for it. And I'd also say go to whatever's closest, because you clearly just don't care. If you're committed and have a vision, do whatever you need to. If you need to fly around the planet in a spaceship to reach your goal, do it. Don't let anything stop you. Have a great day. God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow.